Complete electric guitar setup. To calibrate an electric guitar, we will need some simple tools that we can find in any hardware store. In any case, most new guitars usually come with some tools, such as Allen keys of different sizes, to modify the adjustment of the truss rod and the height of the saddles. With a Phillips screwdriver, we can set the intonation of the guitar. We will also need a precision ruler and fingerboard radius gouges. We would have to buy these tools in specialized stores, but on the website you can download some templates to build these two tools yourself, and it will be free. I leave you a link in the description of this video. Finally, we will need a tuner to be able to set the intonation of the guitar. Many people think that our new guitar will arrive perfectly calibrated, but this is very unlikely for many reasons. Since these setups take time, and they can also depend on our personal taste. So the adjustment of a stock guitar is usually quite basic. The first thing we should check on our new guitar is that no open strings rub against the frets. If it were to rub against a string on the first fret, we would have a nut problem. In this case, the store that sold us the guitar would have to take care of replacing the nut with a well-adjusted other. It is convenient to follow the order to set up your electric guitar in the way that appears in this video. This way, we will not have to touch up the settings already made previously. In the event that a third buzz when we plucking a fret of the first three starting from the nut, it is possible that the guitar lacks some neck curvature. To correct this, we must adjust the truss rod of the guitar neck or the screw that is usually found just below the nut. You can also find this screw on the opposite side of the neck, especially on acoustic and bass guitars, although also in some electric guitar models. The truss rod is responsible for counteracting the tension exerted by the guitar strings on the neck, either by excess or by default, or depending on the gauge of strings that our guitar mounts. Although the neck cannot be completely straight, it must maintain a certain curvature to avoid fret buzz. In the images, some exaggerated curvatures appear so that the concept is understood. To give the neck a little more curvature towards the strings, we will have to turn the screw counterclockwise. And to curve the neck in the opposite direction, we will have to turn the screw clockwise. This would be normal, but although it is rare, there are some left-handed models that work just the other way around. To adjust the truss rod of the guitar, we must loosen the strings first, adjustment the screw to the required side 1/4 turn, and tune again. Then we will have to wait a few minutes to give the wood time to settle. If necessary, we adjust another 1/4 turn using the same procedure without exceeding the successive adjustments the complete turn of the screw or when it offers excessive resistance. It is very interesting to write down the adjustments that we are making to the truss rod, to be able to reverse the steps in the case of not being satisfied with the modifications, and thus to be able to leave everything as it was before making the adjustments. If the problems persist after a full turn of the screw, or when the screw offers excessive resistance, my advice is to take the guitar to a luthier to have it checked. If your guitar model is one of those with double truss rod, my advice is to take it to a luthier to adjust it, since these models are more complex to adapt, but they have the advantage of being more stable to changes in humidity or temperature. We can check the state of the neck placing a capo on the first fret, then we plucking the 6th string at the 16th fret, and then we measure the gap that would remain between the 7th fret and the 6th string. This gap should be between 0.3 and 0.5 millimeters. As you can see, it is a really minimal measure. After setting the truss rod, the next step may be to adjust the string's height. This height can be changed from the bridge saddles, and always after slightly loosening the strings. To adjust the string height on a Tune-O-Matic bridge model like that of Les Paul style guitars, it should be done in block, while Stratocaster style or floating bridges are individually adjustable. The Telecaster's vintage style bridge would adjust the height of the strings in pairs. On Telecasters with upgraded bridges, this would be adjusted individually. In this way, a more precise adjustment can be achieved. If you want to know more about the adjustment of this type of bridges, I leave you links in the cards and the description. An optimal string height setting would be between 2 mm and 2.5 mm, from the bottom of the 6th string to the top of the 12th fret. We can go down slightly of that height in the direction of the thin strings, and always following the curvature of the frets. This would be a very versatile adjustment that would give us a guitar that is comfortable to play, with good volume and tone, with which we can make the chords sound well, and with ease to play guitar solos. If the guitar allows us to lower the strings by less than 2 mm without fret buzz, we can gain playing speed, but we can lose tonal quality and volume. And if we turn them up to 3 mm, we will gain volume, and we will be able to strum with force-benefiting rhythm guitarists, but we would lose comfort and the necessary speed for a solo guitarist. We should not obsess over measurements either. The main thing is that the instrument has a good tone. To give the strings the same curvature as the fretboard, we can use these templates to print and transfer to thick cardboard, wood veneer, or plastic. With these templates, we can build a fingerboard radius gauge. This one in the image is made in PVC. Another setup we can make from the bridge is the intonation of the guitar. To intonate a guitar, we have to ensure that the notes we play open are exactly the same as when we're plucking a note at the 12th fret. That is, the same note that would sound open but an octave higher. To be able to do this, we will need an electronic tuner. If we have a perfectly tuned E note on the first open string, and on the 12th fret we have a slightly lower E, we will have to shorten the scale, moving the saddle closer to the pickups. If it gives us a higher E, we will have to lengthen the scale, moving the saddle away from the first string of the pickups. As you can see in the image, the tuner itself indicates the direction in which we must move the saddle. We would do the same with the rest of the strings, and we must always loosen the string before each adjustment. In the case of a drastic change of strings, we would have to review all the adjustments mentioned above, including intonation. I could go on a bit more about guitar intonation, but that's what the video on the subject is for. I'll leave you links on the cards and the description. We move on to adjusting the height of guitar pickups. The measurements to adjust the height of the pickups of the electric guitar are taken from the top of the pole pieces to the bottom of the string, while we plucking the last fret of the guitar with our finger, or the fret closest to the pickups. The height range in single coil pickups would be between 3.5 and 2 mm depending on its situation in the guitar, without exceeding these heights excessively. Because too much height will take away tone and volume, and not enough height would take away sustain by the magnet influencing the vibrations of the string, or it would just sound bad. To adjust the height of the guitar pickups, we must manipulate the screws that are on both sides of the electromagnetic pickup. In general, the pickups should sit slightly closer on the thin strings, because thin strings vibrate with less oscillation than thick strings. For the thin string, it would be normal to stay between 2 and 3 mm. For humbucker pickups, its height on the 6th string must oscillate between 2 and 3 mm, the standard being 2.5 mm. In the thin string, the range can be between 1.6 and 2.5 mm, but the standard would be 2 mm. For both single coil and humbucker pickups, their volumes must be balanced between their different positions when operating the pickup selector. Although many pickups are specific to each location on the guitar, we can play with the height to get a balanced volume between the different pickups. The normal thing, especially in models with 3 single pickups, is that their height varies by half a millimeter between them, the height decreasing as we get closer to the guitar's bridge. In Les Paul models, the pickups are usually specific for each position, and it is normal that they are balanced, so we can leave both pickups at the same height. To finish with setup, we can adjust the height of the pole pieces of the humbucker pickups following the curvature of the strings.